Yep, I took on a new toy. A 1973 Volkswagen Bug. This Bug is interesting because the floors and the pan are completely solid with no rust whatsoever. But the body looks like it's got a little crash damage and stuff, so that suggests to me that somebody mangled the car, the engine got pushed under because it was rear impacted, and it screwed up the engine frame horns that holds the motor and the transmission up. So somebody changed out the pan, changed out the floor, and then put the shitty old body back on top. And I got the whole thing for 500 bucks. It should run. It hasn't been running in probably about a year, but it was running just fine before that. So I got a feeling I could just put some fresh oil in it, clean out the carb, make sure that the points aren't rusted, and I think it'll probably fire right up. I turned the key and the lights and stuff still come on. They're real dim because the battery's of course dead, but we'll be working on that this weekend and see what we get out of it. Still got the Ghia going on inside the garage up there. That's currently underway. Got to do some more rust damage replacement on it, and then after that we'll be putting the body back on the chassis. But that's a new toy. 1973 Volkswagen Bug, and inside is a 73 Ghia. So that's kind of interesting. We both got the same year. Anybody that really knows me will know that I've wanted a Bug my whole life, and I managed to have a 69 sometime in the mid to late 90s. Unfortunately, in the process of restoring it, I never got to finish it. So here we are, fast forwarding, almost 20 years later, and I finally got my Bug. As you can see, it's really dirty, and it's got its problems, but for the most part, everything on it's in pretty good shape. Brought it home on a tow bar, which is attached to the Z, which everybody screams bloody murder and says is not possible, or that it's going to hurt the car. Well, I pulled the Ghia with it as well, and I haven't had any problems. I've been real careful, and I haven't broken anything. That includes both the Z and the Bug. Do a quick walk around here, see what I got myself into. Both the headlights work when we pull it on. Turn signals are missing. The reason for that was this guy was about to start tearing it apart to turn it into a Baja. It got rescued just in time. The shift rod cap, this is where the shift rod slides into goes through the body and into the pan, is missing. The handle on the hood was also missing because the guy again removed that. He was going to turn it into a Baja. Inside of here, you notice that there's no severe dents or ripples or wrinkles, which indicates that this car was probably not ever crashed in the front, or at least if it was very gently. The front apron looks to be nice and straight, with only a little ding here in the corner. The hood has a small crease in it, so somebody did bump into something. As is typical with a lot of these old hoods, is they have a tendency to be bent or not open gently, and they crack right about here in the center. This gun's got the crack on the driver's side. It's missing the shift rod cap on the inside here, and the inspection plates for the steering box, and what would have been the left-hand drive, or I should say right-hand drive steering box, is also missing. Up here, close to the brake reservoir, we have Squirrel's Nest, which was made from a Jerry Garcia doll that was inside the car. There's lots of acorns and berries and things chewed up that are here inside the car. But the beautiful thing is there's very little rust, as you can see in this inside area here. Glove boxes are usually made from cardboard in these cars, and this one happens to be missing. I haven't bought a Bug, Beetle, Karmann Ghia, or any of that stuff yet. It had a glove box still intact. Vent drainage box is still here, as is the hose. Very important. My 69 Bug, this was missing. And the water managed to make its way down inside the body and rusted out the body and the pans, floor pans from the inside. Electrical is your typical Volkswagen knotted nightmare. Those wires are always knotted up. I don't know why. That's the way they are. Charcoal evaporator canister for the fuel tank is missing. The hose here that's supposed to loop around and go to that is just sitting there, open. So if this gets filled up in the gas tank that's up front here, it will overflow out of this hose, so that needs to be rectified. Alright, let's go around the driver's side of the car. With the hood closed, you can see that the body doesn't line up with the hood. So something happened here, it got mashed somehow. That needs to be straightened out. Mirrors here, got some Bondo work, so something was patched. Coming up and over the top, see an epoxy hole, because there was a surfboard rack formerly on top of this roof. So this just got silicone filled. I'll probably weld these closed. One-piece windows, the vent window got removed. Door handles work, I lubed them. The locks also work properly. Going around the inside, the door panel is missing. That includes the one on the passenger side. Interestingly, or I should say ironically, the door was filled up with water. And that's pretty typical if your seals up here on top of the door are bad. But the ironic part of all of it is that there was an umbrella inside the door. So fill it up with water, put an umbrella in there. Up front there is our pedal system. I pushed on the brake pedal and you see that brake line that runs underneath there. It's actually got a pinhole in it up near the firewall, so I started spraying brake fluid everywhere. So that's something that needs to be fixed. Got a couple little rust holes right there in the heater channel, and one way up front there in the heater channel. These are the only rust holes on this body at all, anywhere. So that's really, this body is really not in as bad a shape as I might have thought it was. There's a little tiny hole also in the corner of the door, probably because the door was filled up with water and I had to find a way out. But for the most part, the rest of the door looks pretty intact, and that can be repaired. Okay, down below there is the exterior shot of the heater channel. Looks intact. The rear fender looks okay. The wheels, however, are mismatched. You got an alloy on both sides in the back, and you got the stock steel wheels up front. Coming around the back here, we got the crescent vents. That's typical, starting in the sometime in 72 or 73, somewhere in there. Here's our motor. The motor actually looks a bit dirty, but it does run. It didn't take a whole lot of work to get it running. Really, all I did was check the oil, put a little gas in it, and charge the battery, and she started right up. So a few things need to be changed. First off, this belt needs to be snugged up or replaced or something. That's just awful. While I was looking inside of this while I bought it, I discovered the firewall. I don't know how well you can really see it. Yep, that shows it. You notice it's bowed. It's supposed to be flat. So this car has been hit at some point. The rear apron doesn't fit properly, and the rear fenders don't look like they fit correctly either. So somebody whaled the back of this car, shoved the engine up into the body. But the engine is now straight, and what's interesting is the serial number, or VIN number, on the body and the pan don't match. So somebody has pulled the old damaged body off, put a new pan underneath, because when you hit these engines in the back, the two frame horns literally look like that. Got crushed or bent or misaligned that motor. So somebody changed the pan out and put a brand new body on it. They got some stickers. All kinds of stickers. It's interesting who used to own this stuff would do some interesting things as they did. Got a muffler that somebody skinned. That'll be fixed. In fact, the whole muffler is kind of sagging, so we'll get that whole thing straightened out. Here's our other rear alloy. Somebody down here didn't use the jack support and actually went beside it and bent up a portion of the body and the pans there. That's easy to fix, just a matter of hammering it back down. Coming back in here, a missing door panel on the passenger side. but there was no water inside this door. This door has virtually no serious rust, just a couple little spots here and there. So I don't see anything severe as far as damage is concerned. We've got more stickers. More stickers. Here's our headlight switch, which somebody did something wonky with. I'll have to fix that. I got a free flashlight that was included with the car, as well as an installed tachometer. Up in here is our glove box. You can see it's dark in there because the actual box itself is gone. There's a toolbox in here and a bag, which is full of manuals for servicing the car. Thought that was kind of cool. Got an empty catalog. California Pacific J-Bugs catalog with rat droppings all over it. That's going to get thrown away. We got a bottle of motor oil. That's good. Set of vice grips. Another set of vice grips. This car has a lot of tools in it. The guy who previously owned this had no problem just dumping it. Get that nasty shit out of here. Had no problem dumping the tools with it. So you let it go, as you see. Inside the toolbox, we've got some, looks like distributor gaskets. Yeah, various gaskets. There's a few other things inside of there, too. That stuff might be useful when it comes time to fix the motor. Set of valve covers and gaskets, chrome ones. That's a nice bonus. Some sandpaper, a bottle jack, Teflon tape, and looks like there's a fuel filter in there. A used fuel filter. A 7.5 millimeter socket. Some vacuum lines and vent lines and tubes and stuff. All bonus that came with this car. The floor pans, again, were replaced when this car had the accident. So what we had going on in here, as you can see from the rusty looking mess, is that there was water puddled in here. And that's from probably window seals or something not being properly installed, or probably just rotting out. It allowed the water to get down inside the pan. But the fact that the pan holds water tells me that the pan has no holes. So the pan seems fairly fresh. I think I can clean this thing up and use the pan, even if I don't wind up using this body. The back here, we have what was a boogie board rack of some sort. I don't know how that worked. But when I first saw it, I thought it was a shotgun rack. And I asked the guy that owned it if that's what it was. But no, it wasn't. Down inside here, virtually no rust in there at all. I'm going to guess it's probably the same on the other side. The battery is like new. In fact, the label on it says 612, so it's only a little over a year old. There's my charger, which appears to be done charging. That's what it looks like. Now it's still charging. We're going to leave it be. Let it keep going. We got an air filter over here, paper style. I kind of like these. These are nice because they're not excessively large and don't take up a lot of room in the engine compartment. There's a lug bolt down there, some baseballs, some tubing, which is probably for something large like the heater system or the fuel filler up under the hood. A few things don't work. I noticed that the taillights weren't responding when I turned the headlights on. Who knows when the thing is gutted like this and it's hanging out. Jesus is riding with me today. And all in all, that spells out what we found in this car. Total price, $500. And here comes the fun part. Alright, here comes the fun part. Fires right up. 3-phase charging system. Bonus.